Mumbai, maximum 31 and minimum 26 degrees. Kolkata, maximum 34 and minimum 27 degrees. Bangalore, maximum 29 and minimum 20 degrees. Chennai, maximum 33 and minimum 28 degrees. Hyderabad, maximum 31 and minimum 24 degrees.
Presented by JK Tyre, Desh Ka Tyre. Co-presented by New Seltos with Kia Connect. Tech is now badass.
Good evening, you're watching News Today at 9 p.m. I'm Preeti Choudhry. It's been exactly 7 days, viewers, since the Kolkata rape and murder case was handed over to the CBI. Tomorrow is also the deadline given by the Supreme Court where the CBI needs to come up with its first report on investigations. What can we expect? That's what we're going to be discussing over the course of the next 40 minutes. First up, allow me to take you through the headlines. CBI ramps up Kolkata rape murder probe. Ex-RG Kar principal's colleague claims rape accused was Sandeep Ghosh's bouncer. CBI to file probe status report in Supreme Court tomorrow. Outrage over Badlapur toddler rape horror continues. Supriya Sule leads protest. Rahul Gandhi demands justice for toddlers. Maharashtra Chief Minister Singh claims opposition hand behind rail roko protests. 40 people arrested. FIRs against 300 protesters. Prime Minister Modi kicks off a two-day Poland tour with tribute at Warsaw War Memorial. Mega diaspora outreach on agenda. Prime Minister will head to war-torn Ukraine on the 23rd of August. Bharat Bandh held pan-India from Bihar to Uttar Pradesh against its Supreme Court verdict on quota within quota, where the creamy layer was mentioned. Protesters try to burn bus with miners on board in Bihar. Cops avert tragedy. Just a month ahead of polls, Rahul Gandhi in Jammu and Kashmir is Srinagar. All eyes on whether National Conference will join hands in an alliance with Congress for the Jammu and Kashmir polls. The Delhi High Court extends interim protection for IAS fraud. Pooja Khedkar. Cops UPSC oppose anticipatory bail. Says Khedkar may tamper with evidence. War of words erupt between Karnataka Chief Minister versus former Chief Minister H.D. Kumaraswamy. Siddaramaiah demands Lokayukt probe against HDK over alleged scam allegations. Kumaraswamy cries conspiracy. And BCCI Secretary Jay Shah set to take over as chairman of cricket's top body. Reports suggest he will replace Greg Barclay as the new ICC chairman. Barack and Michelle Obama rally for presidential candidate Kamala Harris, warning of a tight race. Michelle Obama hurls a racist dig at Donald Trump. All right, news break coming in. The CISF has officially taken over the security at the RG Kar Medical College. What we have been given to understand, 150 CISF personnel deployed for the security of RG Kar. CISF commandos deployed with immediate effect. The central force will look after the security of the hospital premise, and Kolkata police will now only look after the law and order. ADG CISF has conducted a high-level meeting with Kolkata police higher officials just a few hours back. Accommodation facilities have been sought on behalf of Central Force, which will now be provided by the Kolkata police. All right, let's quickly get up to speed with the latest coming in. Shocking revelations clearly have come to the fore as the CBI has intensified the probe in the Kolkata rape and murder horror. The news is tightening on RG Kar's former principal Sandeep Ghosh. 2 ACPs and 1 inspector have also been suspended for their alleged negligence on duty during the vandalism that unfolded at the RG Kar Medical College. Tomorrow is when the CBI has to file a status report with the Supreme Court. It has been 7 full days since the probe was handed over to the CBI. What can one expect?
The probe into Kolkata rape and murder case is at a crucial stage. The CBI, which met the family of the victim, has focused on the former principal of RG Kar Medical College, subjecting him to multiple sessions of marathon grilling. On Wednesday, Dr. Sandeep Ghosh was called for the 6th straight day. CBI has also grilled ASI Anup Datta, an aide of rape murder accused Sanjoy Roy. The Kolkata cop was seen running away to evade the media ahead of his questioning. 2 assistant commissioners of police and an inspector were suspended for negligence over mob vandalism at Kolkata's RG Kar Medical College and Hospital, the scene of crime. India Today accessed damning documents over delay in filing of the FIR. The cops, despite receiving a complaint from the hospital at 2:45 p.m. on 9th August, delayed filing the FIR until 11:45 p.m. A near 9-hour gap hinting at laxity. Shocking revelations have come to the fore about rape accused Sanjoy Roy. He visited a red light area, harassed a woman on the streets and asked another woman to send nudes. He later went to the RG Kar Medical College and peeped into the operation theatre while drunk before attacking Abhaya in the seminar room. The doctors, meanwhile, continue to stage massive protests for justice. Medicos from RG Kar Hospital, colleagues of Abhaya, marched on the streets.
I'm catching my breath as I walk with the young doctors here as they march from the Health Ministry's office here in Kolkata all the way to the CBI's office as they refuse to withdraw their protest. They want to ensure they keep up the pressure and show solidarity with the RG Kar hospital victim. What's your protest all about today?
Today we have made 2 demands. First is we have peacefully gathered around CGO complex. That's just a message to the CBI. It's a request so as to do transparent investigation and so as to bring up with the report that will be presented tomorrow in the Supreme Court. Secondly, it is against our Shastro Bhavan, which is the health center who conducts all the health services along the state. Our main protest is we want resignation of the authorities, we want resignations of the principal, of the MSVP who were there at that time.
We know, but we have seen and we have gotten the news that it's more than one person for sure, and we want it to be completely verified what all people have been involved in this rape case.
You're saying there could be an attempt to cover up the case?
There can be.
The vandals were motivated to deliberately, absolutely, on the day of independence, at the midnight of independence, they came in a thing and they were actually literally shouting up in name of the leaders, those who were leading the article movement. Yeah. How could they know? How could they know that where is the ENT department, where is the chest department? And they wanted to vandalize only the chest department, but they wrongly destroyed the ENT department. How is that possible? If they entered only the emergency department, they destroyed everything. It's not possible unless and until they were motivated to do that only.
Amid battle for justice for Abhaya, India Today has accessed the heartbreaking last diary entry of the young doctor, where she noted down her dreams to excel in medicine, ambition to win a gold medal, and her love for her father's well-being. A young and promising life violently snuffed out. It's now an endless wait for justice. With Nabila Jamal and Ritik Mandal from Kolkata, Bureau Report, India Today.
So here's what is it that we can expect tomorrow, because it's been 7 days since the CBI has been investigating the case. They have to file their investigative report tomorrow where the Supreme Court is concerned. What can we expect? Let's cut across to our panelists this evening. Joining me is AP Singh, former director CBI, Nisha Menon, forensic expert. We'll also be joined in a short while with Yashovardhan Azad, former IPS, as well as Nisha Menon, forensic expert. We'll also be joined by some of the doctors who are continuing to protest at the RG hospital. They do not want to give out their identity as of now because they clearly feel that they're going to be hounded for it. I want to cut across first to AP Singh, former director CBI. AP Singh, 7 days. Would you think is time enough appropriate for the CBI to come up with at least the initial investigations that it has conducted, a report on that? They need to submit it in Supreme Court. What can we expect?
See, Preeti, the problem is the CBI got this case on the 14th. It takes time. You have to form a team. You cannot rely on the locals. And then you have to collect all the documents from the Calcutta police. So I wouldn't say that there would be big breakthroughs in the investigation immediately. Yes, CBI will give a status report, and it will probably be in a sealed cover. Normally, investigations which are live are not, openly publicized what they've done. It would probably be a sealed cover to the Supreme Court about what progress they made. So they will probably say that we formed a team. These are the names of the team. We have got the postmortem report. What are we doing on that? The forensics, what forensic examinations have taken place? If the lie detector test has been done, what is the result? A PM is very important. They've examined the principal. Now, I think that somewhere the principal is being grilled because he is responsible for the cover-up. I don't know whether he's part of the conspiracy or part of the cover-up. Definitely part of the cover-up because he delayed. Right. He had been delaying the entire process. So CBI at the moment, I'm sure, and they've been grilling the main accused also. So that is very important. The lie detector test of the main accused, his statement, because he's been grilled. Does he confess to the crime? Does he say there were other people also involved or not? Now, from what I see in the news, the PM report says that there were multiple injuries and her legs had been fractured and broken. Now, there will have to be a forensic examination of the PM as well. Some team of experts will have to look at the PM report. I hope it had been videographed. And then they will say whether this is possible by one person or there were other people involved. Now, if there were other people involved, then it becomes a much bigger investigation. So I don't think that initially you expect a lot from the CBI. It just started, as you said, it's 7 days. But in 7 days, they have to make a team, they have to collect all the evidence, they have to examine the scene of crime. Now, this is a conventional crime. CBI normally doesn't do murders except when given by the High Court or the Supreme Court or the state government requests you. So it's not something you do every day.
Right.
And the biggest problem with CBI in all conventional crime cases is that you never get the scene of crime immediately. It has always been tampered. You must have seen in earlier cases also. By the time the CBI gets it, it's 3 or 4 days later. Mobs have trampled all over it. So we don't know what the purity of the crime scene is, whether the Calcutta police was able to preserve something or not. I mentioned this earlier also that there is a Locard principle of exchange in scientific forensic investigation. It says that the criminals always leave a trace at the crime scene. You will always find something of the criminal if you examine the crime scene. Similarly, something of the victim will always be found on the perpetrators. If you examine their clothes, if you examine their bodies, you'll find something or the other. So now whether that is, they are in a position to do all that now because the crime scene have come after 4 or 5 days.
Mr. Singh,
So
you know,
that is definitely
right. You've spoken on a multiple, on multiple issues on what possibly can be included in the status report that will be filed tomorrow.
yeah.
The most important, Mr. Singh, in all of this, one reckons, is whether this was rape or it was gang rape. There were more people involved in it.
Yeah.
And would you think 7 days, especially where the accused has also been interrogated, is enough to ascertain whether it was rape or gang rape? Because maybe then we would have already seen more arrests take place, which we haven't yet.
Yeah, I agree with you, because with the post-mortem report and interrogation of the accused, it should be able to establish immediately whether it's a rape or a gang. That is possible.
All right, just stay on with me. I want to bring in our other experts as well. Yashovardhan Azad, the former IPS, is also joining us. Mr. Azad, the fact is every time the CBI has taken over a case, and I'll go back to Mr. Singh on this as well, it's got a great conviction rate where the CBI taking over a case is concerned. But strangely, when it comes down to high-profile cases, the CBI has failed multiple times. Be it Sushant Singh Rajput's case, we haven't yet seen a closure report. The Arushi Talwar case, there have been botch-ups, at least where high-profile cases are concerned. Other than that, they've had a fabulous track record on conviction. Would you think the CBI, at least in 7 days, would be able to give us something to work on?
Not really. I have always maintained that CBI is an outstanding organization and it works brilliantly wherever there's a political interest not involved. In this particular case, I don't think there is any problem with the CBI, but I don't think they would be able to give anything conclusively tomorrow to the Supreme Court. The first thing which you have asked is about the gang rape. Yes, you can surmise on the basis of the injuries in the post-mortem. And of course, from the statements taken, but from the principle, you'll hardly get anything material on this particular case. So it has to depend on the forensic evidence. It has to depend on too many things. And I don't know how much they have been able to garner at this particular stage. What is important is that the main accused was already caught within 2 days. And his interrogation should be very, very important and material. I don't know whether CBI has been able to, fish out anything from that. So what I would say is that this investigation will go on, and very rightly so. They are lip-tied. They are not saying anything outside because a lot of canard was flown about the investigation, and a lot of things were misguiding, which was absolutely
But Mr.
wrong.
Azad, that prompts me to my other question, because if tomorrow the status quo remains on what we already know, then in hindsight, the Kolkata police really didn't do that bad a job.
Calcutta police, if it would have remained with the Calcutta police, they would have cracked the case. After all, the debate was that, yes, the FIR was lodged very late. In most of these cases, as my friend AP would agree with me, it's a Marg Panchnama which is done and the Marg inquiry starts. And after that, no head constable or no SI at the police station wants to write the FIR. So they wait for a responsible officer, and it was written about a couple of hours later at night. In the next day itself, within 2 days, the Calcutta police caught the main accused. And therefore, it should have remained with them. They would have certainly cracked the case. But it's all right because there were so many allegations.
Mr. Azad, at this juncture, there are many who'd say that, yes, this is a former IPS officer speaking, and AP Singh is a former CBI director. So we're going to put these two things aside for just about a minute. And I want to bring in a forensic expert who we also have on the show. Nisha Menon is with us. Nisha, if you look at the post-mortem report, which is now, unfortunately or fortunately, what many would suggest, in public domain, it also does away with a lot of misinformation, but it also leads to many questions that need to be asked. The sheer fact that more than 14 injury marks on the victim's body, the nature of the injuries that is concerned, the thick, fluid, which was not semen, was found in the vaginal cavity, the death due to strangulation. If you look at the post-mortem report, Nisha, as an expert, what do you make of it?
When we talk about the postmortem report in these type of sexual assault cases, which is done by medical legal doctors, there are three things which are categorically tested. One is the external set of injuries and what type of weapon might have been used, or whether it was an incised type of wound, whether it was a lacerated wound, what type of wound it is, external injuries, internal injuries. Apart from that, what exactly has been the cause of death? And if even the injuries are tested, how wide and what type of depth these injuries and what could have actually caused them, the cause of death, and third is an approximate time of death. These are the three things which we categorically know from a postmortem report, and that too a preliminary postmortem report, wherein there would be an advanced postmortem report wherein other the viscera testing and the other biological fluid and bodily fluids and other would be tested. So this is a preliminary set of indications what postmortem reports give us.
Nisha, is there a way that from the nature of injuries, any possibility to ascertain whether this was rape or gang rape?
From the nature of injuries, I would definitely say no. It is definitely not possible to find out whether multiple people were involved, whether it was done by a single person or not. Definitely not. With the at least as far as the injuries are concerned, it has to be forensically testing of biological evidences and other evidences which have been found at the crime scene. Only then it would indicate like whether multiple people, and a concrete testing is definitely biological testing as well as
Nisha,
the major part is the DNA profiling.
Right, but when you speak of a complete forensic report, so there has been a forensic report. Can we say that at least with the CBI now, there will be DNA samples at least to ascertain whether this was rape or gang rape? So the CBI would know by now, as per the DNA samples which have been collected under forensics, to have an understanding whether there was more than one person involved.
Preeti, this would be a very short time for a DNA profile to be generated. Within a week, definitely not possible. For gang rapes, where there is mixture sample, there is lot of complexities which is involved, wherein a DNA expert has to first of all, eliminate the victim sample and then segregate depending upon the number of profile which has been generated.
And if there is only one other DNA sample, then it can be ascertained that this was not a gang rape.
Yes, definitely. Yes, after the elimination of the victim sample, if it is only one profile which has been generated, then in that case, and it is relatively quick, and it's a mixture sample. It is just not, it's a combination of semen. It is a combination of viscous fluid which is present inside the vagina of the victim also. So it is a mixture sample which is there. So it is a cumbersome task, and it is not that easy what we speak about in terms of DNA profiling.
All right. Interesting there. Thank you for shedding some light on it. Both the gentlemen, I'm just going to come right back to you, but I want to cut across now to one of the protesting doctors at the RG Kar hospital. We are going to withhold the identity clearly because, they have been targeted. So we're going to just do that right now. I want to ask you, sir, that what are the issues that you're facing in your protest? Because clearly the sheer fact that we cannot reveal your identity means that there is pressure.
Yes. So first thing that I would like to say is that the authority, who is supposed to be our guardian in the hospital, has turned our back on us. Right now, we feel the fear for our lives, and we are protesting in our college, which has a virtual principal. She's not even present in self in the college campus. She herself said that she feels unsafe in the premises of this college and has left us here to secure our own fates. But, however, our senior faculties, our professors, they are showing us immense support on most of the occasions, by running the ER or performing surgeries or going out of their convenience and supporting us. But the authority who is supposed to take care of us in this dire situation, they are not there. Secondly, further, I would just say that on asking our local authorities as well as the police authorities, we have received no clear plan of action or assurance of our safety in case of a repeated attack. See, the whole thing is that we are so concerned about our safety that we cannot do our protest here also peacefully. If we are sitting here at night, all night we are here, we still feel unsafe. We feel that some mob is going to come anytime and attack us. So we are basically doctors by profession. We are trained to treat
Okay.
patients. We are not trained to, fight against the mob.
All
So
right. So
if in
basically, you're
our
saying that you're
workplace,
feeling abandoned in your protest and you're feeling
yes,
unsafe and unsure. But,
yes.
ma'am, another question that I want to ask you right now, the kind of pace of investigations, the way the case has been handled, how the incumbent government is handling the entire situation, are you content with that?
No, of course not. Like, firstly, we are not being updated about the progress of the current investigation. We have no update. Like, the CBI is not telling us anything, the court is not telling us anything, the police also did not help us with anything. So we are hopeful that since the case has now been transferred to a court-monitored CBI investigation, we're expecting better results, as the Kolkata police has miserably failed us on multiple occasions.
All right. My final question that I want to ask you is, now, there are multiple requests that the doctors protesting have got, even from the Chief Justice of India, that time now to join back work. Do you think you're ready to do that?
Okay, first of all, let me clarify that the Honorable Supreme Court of India has clearly acknowledged the fact that working environment for healthcare professionals, particularly female personnel, it is not safe. Right? He clearly stated that how can he request us to join back to work under such circumstances which do not even meet up with the basic human necessities. So we are more than eager to join work, but
Okay.
that is as soon as our demands are.
What are the demands that you have right now, doctor? All right, we seem to have lost her. We're going to try and connect to her in a short while from now. But I want to go back right now to our experts who are with us. AP Singh and Yashovardhan Azad and Nisha continue to be with us. AP Singh, former director CBI, once again coming back to you, sir. With now 7 days, sir, that the CBI will file its first report in terms of where the investigations stand. We've already discussed on possibility of what we can expect, and even with what Yashovardhan Azad was saying, that, in hindsight, if you look at it, the Kolkata police really didn't do that bad a job.
Well, I think that's too early to say whether they did a good job or not, because we don't know what the results of the
Yes.
investigation are so far. But as I told you that, for CBI, it's very preliminary to, sort of say that we've done this investigation. They will just tell you the process. Tomorrow, I presume they will tell the Supreme Court how they've formed a team, what progress they've made. If the interrogation has yielded some results, they may mention that. But as we were discussing, the most important thing is the interrogation of the accused. Now, if he confesses, if he tells you what actually happened, and yeah, you're right, maybe Calcutta police also had that information, because you don't see the CBI going to other places. That means the focus is basically around the main accused and the principal. Principal, I presume, is because he was trying to cover up this case, so they're grilling him. But the main accused obviously has told the CBI something important, because you don't find them going around all over the place picking up people. So, I mean, I'm just guessing. This is just guesswork, but I can assure you that CBI is fully competent to do this investigation. It just has to be given time. It should not be pressurized by either the media or by the courts. That courts cannot interfere in the investigation. They can just ask you what progress you made. They cannot tell you that do this, do that, or why haven't you done this. Its investigation is purely in the domain of the police.
Right. But,
So let
AP
it.
saying, keeping in mind the case has taken a life of its own, we've seen fair amounts of political pressure, even political interference. Now, would you think that could hamper and delay investigations?
Not at all. Not at all. This is a conventional crime. It's not a political. There's nothing political in it. They may be from outside. It may look political, but it's a pure case of murder and rape, and that is the investigation that CBI will be focusing on. And I can assure you that they will come to proper conclusion to this case. There will be a proper conclusion. I don't think there's going to be any confusion. There can be some further investigations, because they're saying all sorts of things, that all the going-ons that were going on in the hospital, and whether the principal was involved or not. But that is a secondary investigation. It's not It may not be directly related to this murder.
Right.
It may be related. So that is if that happens, then the case can get more complicated.
Yashovardhan Azad, do you think, because sometimes when cases become as big and blown up as they are right now, and rightly so, I would reckon every case should take a life of its own, especially as heinous as this. But the kind of public eye, the kind of political pressure does impact investigations, or do you think no?
See, in general, political impact is there on investigation. That is true. But in this particular case, there is no political pressure whether to prove it is a gang rape or not a rape. And in fact, most probably, as I told you earlier, from the postmortem report, it can only be a surmise that with so many injuries, there could have been gang rape. But ultimately, as I said, it is the forensic evidence which is very critical, whether there is any blood samples, whether any hair sample, whether there is any DNA sampling and all. And I have a feeling that, if watching the CCTV, there were no other entries or exits. So looks like that CBI may be, veering around to the same view which the Calcutta police has come, that is on the main accused itself. That is my surmise. So I don't think, number one, there is any political pressure. Number two, I do feel as far as it's a very important thing is the security and safety of the doctors. It's not possible to ensure those security standards or safety standards, within, a week or so. Therefore, they have to. But one thing is very important, which needs to be pointed out to these doctors, is that this was a rogue attack. This happens like a janitor did it in school, like others who did it in the school. So all the responsibility depends on people like the principal or the security officers. Therefore, they can absolutely go back to work because this was not a general threat. This was a rogue attack. Right. And that's very important to be distinguished.
Mr. Azad, you do say that in your opinion that, it's the same line of investigation at the Kolkata police. But yes, Mr. Singh is right. Let's wait till we at least get what the CBI has to say in all of this and where they stand in terms of investigation. Nisha, to bring you in again on this, the DNA, which you explained in detail, is going to be the key to understand whether it was a rape or a gang rape. And it takes more time if there are more number of people involved. If it's just the victim and the accused, it's that much simpler in terms of identifying. The question I ask you now, is there any other evidence that investigators can look into other than DNA?
See, when I say about other evidences, we are talking about the other forensic evidences. For example, there have been, apart from these bodily fluids, wherein we are having this DNA profile done, other evidences which have been seized from the crime scene. For example, might be blood patterns or blood patterns which are there, multiple blood grouping would be there. So that also would give an indication whether there were multiple people who were involved. There are other set of trace evidences, that is below the fingernails, if there are tissue samples. So when we are doing a DNA profile, it is just not simply restricted to only the body fluid or the vaginal canal fluid, which is restricted. It is every other exhibit, biological evidence which has been seized from the crime scene, even the saliva samples, the swabs, smears, everything, whatever is taken from the external body part. There also mixture samples would be there. So profiling would be done of each and every biological evidence which would give us a DNA profile, and that would give us an indication whether multiple people were involved or it is just a job of one criminal.
AP Singh, once again coming back to the CBI taking over the case, which we've discussed earlier as well, the sheer fact that the CBI comes with a conviction track record, which is actually very good. It's over 70%. But with what I pointed out earlier, whenever the CBI has picked up high-profile cases, there seems to be a failure to at least, reach a conclusive end. And there are a number of those. Sushant Singh Rajput's case is one of the many where the CBI has yet to file a closure report. And there was so much misinformation that barreled then.
Okay. Can I mention that in my time, we did two very important murder cases. One was Sela Masood. She was you may remember that case. It was completely detected. It was in Bhopal. It was detected. Conviction has taken place. Similarly, there was a Bhavri Devi case in Rajasthan.
93, yes, Rajasthan.
No, not 93. That is another one. This was, she was a nurse who was having an affair with a minister and she got kidnapped and murdered.
Yes.
And we solved that case. It was in my time, and
Involving
conviction took place.
the politician, Mr. Maderna.
Yeah,
Yes.
exactly. So we got. So it's not that we don't get convictions in high-profile cases. Even in Saila Masood was a absolutely blind case. I don't know if you remember that case. Ultimately, it was some lady. She was supposed to be a RTI activist, but it turned out to be some internal love affair or something going on. And a blind case, the CBI detected it, and we got a conviction. So it's not that it's only the case that you're mentioning is Arushi. Now, in that again,
Arushi murder
even
case
in
as
this,
well, Mr. Singh.
yeah, even in this case, in Arushi case, the crime scene had been completely tampered. So there was no chance of getting any evidence from the crime scene. And even in this case, I don't know. Your forensic expert has just explained all the things that you can collect from the crime scene. And similarly, uh, I had mentioned that there's a lot of exchange that takes place in a crime scene. So if all that is not available, then definitely it affects the investigation.
Yashavardhan Azad is smiling. Do you concur, Mr. Azad, with what Mr. Singh is saying?
You know, if you really want to test the CBI, then you should look at the corruption cases against the politicians. That is where the real test is. Now, in actual murder cases, some of the cases like the Arushi, there was hardly any, political to it. The scene of crime was spoiled, and that's okay. In Sushant Singh case, it was highly political, but because it was a suicide, and there was a lot of confusion about it. There are too many things happen. So CBI should be tested where the corruption cases against politicians are, how they go slow, how they go fast, and what is the output. So that is another area. Otherwise, CBI is outstanding. It has one of the best forensic wings, and it has one of the best officers. In this particular case, Preeti, I don't think there is an involvement of politics, so they'll be able to crack the case exactly the way it is. Most probably, it may go with the Kolkata way.
All right, the way the Kolkata police investigated is what you're saying. Final comments, AP Singh, how long would you see at least the CBI coming out with some conclusive proof? Because, everyone's struggling in the dark right now. It's been 7 days, the case has been transferred, you're looking for answers, protests are still peaking, and yet one still is struggling with the fact whether this was rape, gang rape, was there a racket behind? Lots of unanswered questions.
So, Preeti, the thing is that you have to. It's not only the investigation. There's a lot of forensics involved in every case. Same thing with the postmortem. There'll be a team of experts. It'll go to them. You have to wait for their report. You have to wait for DNA reports. You have to wait for the reports of all the forensics that will be done in this case. So I would say 3 months would be the earliest. If you put a lot of pressure, then maybe 3 months, but 6 months should be a good time to wrap up this case.
Okay.
I would expect six months, but what happens is it's not the investigation that is delayed so much. It is ultimately the trial of the court.
Yes.
Time really is taken once these cases go to court. So that is somewhere where the High Court and the Supreme Court can intervene and fast track the entire trial.
Right. Nisha Menon, the biggest question which we began with, and possibly we'll end this debate right now, is of course, what happened in the background. Was there a racket? Who was involved? Was there a delay? All of that is separate. The biggest question right now everyone has in their mind is, was there more than one accused? And when do you think we'll have a conclusive answer to that where forensics are concerned?
I think looking upon the complexity of the samples, what have been said, as earlier said, that it is just not one single bodily fluid we would be testing or the DNA experts would be testing. It is multiple samples which have been collected from various areas, right from crime scene, external body parts, internal body parts. Had it been only a single perpetrator or something, it would have taken approximately 2 weeks minimum time. That's a minimum timeline. And as far as the complexity of the samples increases, the timeline would definitely be more cumbersome, and it would be a tough task for a DNA expert or a team of DNA experts. So it should take around 6 to 8 weeks. That is some timeline which I can evaluate depending upon the type of samples which have been seized.
All right, so at least like a 6-month window where the case is concerned, and at least 6 weeks to know whether there was more than one accused involved. Viewers, now just put it in perspective, because we are hearing high decibel, commentary on people asking that the accused be hanged in the next 1 week, which included the Chief Minister. That's really not possible. With that, I appreciate all three of you for joining us. Thank you there. I think unfortunately, we all look forward to what the CBI has to say in their first report that they will file with the Supreme Court tomorrow. All eyes on that. Thank you for joining us. Let's now quickly shift focus to the other crime that took place while the streets of Kolkata were raging awash in protest, in rage. There was an incident that had happened in Maharashtra, Badlapur. And what was very strange is that two political parties on opposite sides of the political divide, the TMC and of course Eknath Shinde Shiv Sena, reacted very similarly, blaming the opposition in the state and taking their ire out on the protesters. While in Kolkata, the Kolkata police has summoned some of the protesters who they say were spreading misinformation. The Maharashtra police went even further by arresting 40 protesters and slapping FIRs, 4 FIRs against 500. Here's the latest.
Outrage and shock over the rape of 2 kindergarten girls aged 3 and 4 by school staff in Badlapur near Thane. After angry citizens blocked trains on Tuesday demanding justice, the police have launched a crackdown on protesters who disrupted rail traffic. The police have filed FIRs on vandalism, naming over 300 people. Over 40 have been arrested. Some arrested protesters were produced before magistrate and they were sent to 14 days judicial custody. A day after citizen protest shook Maharashtra, opposition leaders hit the streets on Wednesday. NCP Sharad Pawar MP Supriya Sule led the protest in Pune, demanding resignation of CM Eknath Shinde, Deputy CMs Ajit Pawar and Fadnavis over the delay in filing FIR and arresting the accused.
It's clear that the Maharashtra government, which is so busy with ICE, which is income tax, CBI, ED, going after the opposition, it has very little time for core issues, and which is the most important issue, which is crime against women.
In Badlapur, the Congress and the Shiv Sena UBT staged protest and blocked roads.
थाना में जहां मुख्यमंत्री खुद वहां पर है, वहां पिछले 6 महीने में 57% ज्यादा जो है क्राइम वहां पे बढ़ चुका है। सुरक्षा कहीं रही नहीं गई है। महिलाओं का अत्याचार इतना ज्यादा होते जा रहा है। आज पूरा महाराष्ट्र किस तरीके से जल रहा है मुझे समझ में नहीं आ रहा है, और हम चाहते हैं कि सरकार जो है ना महिलाओं की सुरक्षा करे।
दुखद बात है कि मुख्यमंत्री महोदय अगर इस तरह से बात करते हैं कि यह आंदोलन पॉलिटिकली मोटिवेटेड था, उल्टा मुख्यमंत्री महोदय ये जान ले कि लोगों में इतना गुस्सा क्यों भर पड़ा था। एक तो आपने पुलिस स्टेशन की कंप्लेंट ठीक से नहीं ली, आपने पोक्सो दाखिल नहीं किया, आपने स्कूल का सीसीटीवी फुटेज गायब किया। कल जाकर आपने कुछ कार्रवाई की, लेकिन उस कार्रवाई के बदले कितने ही पेरेंट्स पर गुनाह दाखिल हुए।
Shiv Sena UBT MP Sanjay Raut has questioned the crackdown on protesters.
उस लड़की को प्रोटेक्शन देने के बजाय न्याय मांगने के लिए जो लोग सड़क पर उतरे हैं, आप उनके खिलाफ आपराधिक मामले दायर करते हो। किसका दबाव था पुलिस के ऊपर, ये बता सकते हैं गिरीश महाजन? ये बता सकते हैं देवेंद्र फडणवीस जी, ये बता सकते हैं राज्य के मुख्यमंत्री।
किसी को भी बख्शा नहीं जाएगा।
The Mahayuti government has assured justice for the victims and their families. The case will be tried in a fast-track court. An SIT has been formed to investigate the case.
कोई भी हो उसको बख्शा नहीं जाएगा।
जे कठोरातले कठोर सेक्शन लावण्याचं निर्देश आम्ही दिलेत, त्याचबरोबर ही केस फास्ट ट्रॅकवर घ्यायच्या सूचना दिल्यात. परंतु हे जे कालचं जे आंदोलन होतं हे पॉलिटिकल मोटिवेटेड होतं असं माझं म्हणणं आहे.
कल ही मुझे रात को फोन पे बताया कि बदलापुर की घटना गंभीर है, लोगों की मांग है और उन्होंने तुरंत फैसला किया और मुझे फोन पे कह दिया. ऑफिशियली मुझे तो अभी तक नोटिफिकेशन गवर्नमेंट का मिला नहीं है, लेकिन जब होम मिनिस्टर साहब और सीएम साहब कहते हैं तो मैं जरूर बहुत जिम्मेदारी से ये ट्रायल जल्द से जल्द चलाऊंगा.
The accused in the case, Akshay Shinde, a janitor, is in jail. The principal of the school and 2 staff members are suspended for not taking timely action.
The special investigation team formed by the state government headed by IG Aarti Singh started investigation in the case. IG Aarti Singh visited the Badlapur police station on Wednesday morning and her team started collecting documents. They also spoke to the complainants and other associated persons in the case. With camera person Swaraj, this is Devesh Singh in Badlapur for India Today.
Even though it was met by lukewarm response, today was a Bharat Bandh across the country. It was called by multiple Dalit and Adivasi groups, backed by multiple political parties, mostly from the India Alliance. Well, the protests were against the Supreme Court's recent verdict on quota within quota, where they asked states to look at doing away with the creamy layer. While the impact was at a lesser degree across India, protests did take an ugly turn in Bihar.
Railway and road services hit. Markets declared shut. And protesters lathi-charged. From Bihar to Rajasthan to Kerala and Madhya Pradesh, the impact of Bandh, called by Dalit and tribal organizations, was visible nationwide. The protest was against the recent Supreme Court ruling calling for sub-quota within SC/ST reservations. On August 1st, Supreme Court had ruled that states are allowed to make further sub-classifications within the SC/STs to ensure that the benefits of reservation reach the last mile. The National Conference of Dalit and Adivasi organizations leading the protest has listed 5 key demands. Centre must reject judgment as it threatens constitutional rights of SC and STs. Demand for a new Act of Parliament for SC, ST and OBC reservations to be included in the 9th schedule of the Constitution to protect it from judicial review. Immediate release of caste-based data on SC, ST, OBC employees in government services to achieve 50% representation of marginalized communities in the higher judiciary. Address and fill all backlog vacancies in central and state government departments. A political face-off has erupted over the quota issue.
मोदी जी के राज में आप देखिएगा दलितों को बांटा जा रहा है, क्रीमी लेयर की बात की जा रही है. आज देखिएगा जो रिजर्वेशन जो है उसको खत्म किया जा रहा है.
कोई भी काम नियम से होता है, कानून से होता है और जो संविधान में प्रदत्त शक्तियां हैं उसके हिसाब से होता है. उसका सहारा लेना चाहिए, न कि ये बंदी करके राज्य को नुकसान पहुंचाना चाहिए, देश को नुकसान पहुंचाना चाहिए.
The Supreme Court ruling has left supporters of quota divided. While most political parties and organizations representing SC/STs are against sub-quota, a few experts have backed the idea so that more needy get the benefit of reservation. Bureau Report, India Today.
Slipping into a quick break. On the other side, we're going to shift focus to the United States of America, headed for election, where Barack and Michelle Obama rally for presidential candidate Kamala Harris. Warning of a tight race, Michelle Obama also hurls a racist dig at Donald Trump.